Hey YouTube, hi Spotify, it's Kel coming to you again today, and we are in a series called Manipulation Tactics, and what we're going to talk about today is another one that I often see in my practice, and we're going to get into a little bit of the science about it. I don't think today's video is going to be very long, but it's still in the series, and it's a topic in and of itself that really should be addressed, and that trait that can be manipulative is the trait of inconsistency. Okay, so I wanted to bring this up because I have had a lot of clients have their partners be inconsistent, and another word that I would say for that, inconsistent, also equals unreliable. Because if someone is being inconsistent, you don't know what you're going to get next, and that not only is it manipulative, but and again, this can be conscious or subconscious, right? But it also can be anxiety producing. When you don't know what to expect out of someone or what their consistent behaviors are like, then you get anxious because you're kind of like walking on eggshells a little bit, like what's tomorrow gonna be like, right? And a feeling of safety is born and created in a situation, and peace is felt when someone you are in a relationship with is consistent every day. You know what their behavior is going to be like, and consistency and reliability are technically two different things, but for the sake of this video, we're just going to kind of talk about them both because they can be very intertwined. So consistency is obviously that the thing that you experienced yesterday with someone is also going to be the thing that you experience today with them, and then also going to be the thing that you experience, the way you experience them tomorrow. So they are pretty consistent in general in their behavior, and that might be a gamut of moods, right? We're not saying people don't have natural moods. In fact, we all have all the different emotions inside of us, and some show more than others each day, but the gamut of that behavior and the way they're displayed should be relative. There should be, again, a pattern of consistency, okay? If someone is inconsistent to that, it should be the exception, not the rule, okay? So, and I know these things kind of sound basic, but for a lot of people, they might not be, right? So if there is a pattern of inconsistency, which means yesterday you got this, today you're going to get something different, tomorrow you're going to get something different, and so who knows what that person will be like a week from now, right? It definitely creates this feeling of anxiety. It can be like walking on eggshells, kind of like who are you really? Like, what have I not seen yet? Again, how do I know I can rely on you tomorrow, right? And a lot of times inconsistency can be in communication with someone, and if they are not reliable in communication, like you try calling them, they're sometimes, they're not there sometimes. Now, again, we all don't answer our phones sometimes, but like, if someone is consistently not there for you, or you don't know if you'll be able to catch them or communicate with them in a good amount of time, that can be a pattern of inconsistency. Again, I mean, you know it when you feel it. If someone is being consistent, you feel safe, right? You feel at peace because you know what to rely on, what's going to be the case probably tomorrow. Of course, circumstances come up, but like, again, the pattern should be of consistent behavior and a consistent display of behavior and a consistent display of a person's, ethics and their integrity and their honesty and kind of all their values should be consistent, right? Because again, if it's unreliable, you really truly probably do not know fully who the person is, and it certainly creates a feeling of anxiety. And the last thing I'm going to say on it is, whether people know this or not, I know I learned it in, during my psych practice, but it's a very interesting thing because apparently when someone is inconsistent with you, especially if you have anything like an anxious attachment, disorder, anything like that, the inconsistent behavior actually can start to become like a drug for many people, where because they get anxious not knowing what's going to happen, if something good happens, it's like a drug to them, because it's kind of, you're in this like withdrawal and then anxiety state, and then you get rewarded, and then yet like if the next time you don't know what to expect, there is a little bit of a, in your brain, it actually is experienced the same way of a drug. It's called the intermittent reinforcement system. So if you just don't know exactly what you're going to get, and yet you get something good and you've been in suspense of receiving that, then can be like the whole process of getting a drug. If you are a drug addict, which I, have worked in addiction treatment centers a lot in the past, and I'm not, but it is a process of, you have the high of it, right? And then you experience, basically you end up going into like a slight withdrawal state, and then it ends up being like anxious to get it again. And you start looking forward to like, when am I going to get it again? How can I get it again? And apparently science is saying that's a big part of what actually makes the drug high. That high is that there has been this period of like looking forward to it, or hunt for it, or obsession about it. And so again, intermittent reinforcement system is very linked to like, if someone is inconsistent. So again, this video will be relatively short because it's kind of common sense, but sometimes we all need to hear the common sense things. I know I have in the past. And like, so what you really want to look for is there a pattern of consistency and reliability with this person? Or is there a pattern of inconsistency and unreliability? If you cannot predict how they're going to be tomorrow, how generous they're going to be to you, or kind or thoughtful or reliable, then that is something that has to be addressed in the relationship, or you will keep experiencing such anxiety that will end up affecting who you are as a human being, compared to like a safe relationship where you can just focus on thriving. So again, if someone's inconsistent, but you have a pattern of consistency, great. We all have our off days. We all have some, we might do things that are kind of like, oh, you're never in a bad mood, and like, you're in a bad mood. That's weird. You know what I mean? But if it's a pattern of unreliability and a pattern of inconsistency and a pattern of, you don't know if someone's going to be there for you one day or the next, then that's a real, I would say, problem in a relationship, and you want to nip it in the bud, however you want to do it, whether it's through really good communication about how you're feeling and what they can do differently, or you need to go to therapy about it. There are ways to fix it, but hopefully you just spot it early on with someone, because you really do want to date and partner with someone who is reliable and consistent. And so it just puts you and your nervous system at ease, and you are able to thrive more easily. You won't be as anxious. So I hope that this helps. I know, again, these things sometimes seem like common sense, but trust me, apparently common sense is not that common sometimes, because I have not had it sometimes. So, especially like in this, I'm going to just give a little like 2 cents. Way back in the day when I would, accept that kind of behavior from someone, what would happen is I would go into thinking like, I would justify, oh, they're busy because they're like doing all these things and their schedule's so unpredictable and blah, 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 blah. But I wouldn't look at the fact that like, I need someone who is consistent and reliable. And so, I just wanted to throw that out there. I hope that it helps you. And I hope that these videos, like I said, if it helps just one person out there, it's still worth doing. It's even worth doing for me sometimes. So, I just feel like I hope in the tiniest way that maybe you learned something. And, if we all go through hard things, we might as well find ways to like share those experiences with other people and what we've learned and everything. So I wish you well tonight. I hope that you're doing well wherever you are, and I will see you next time.